Welcome to a community chat podcast, the first of its type. While it is primarily for audio purposes, there is a video element that is to this, as we have recently done a soft launch of our podcast network, the Abington CAM, or Abington Community Access and Media Podcast Network. Joining us is kind of the debut of this production.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, isn't it? That voice that you heard is Corinne Mason. She is a Massasoit Community College professor, and she is the director of the performance that's coming up on March 18th for 2 shows. Joining her is Devonny Grafton. Devonny not only has a role in this performance of Little Women, but she also is going to be behind the scenes as an assistant director. Yes. Ladies, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having us, Kevin.
So let's first and foremost, for folks who don't know, tell us a little bit, Corinne, about the Massasoit Community College and its theater program, especially where the performance that we're going to be talking about, Little Women, is something that is derivative of the student ensemble.
Absolutely. So Massasoit Community College does have a theater arts AA, an associate's degree in theater, that is fully transferable to any state institution. And we also have an agreement with Emerson College. So it's really unique in that our program is 2 years worth of a curriculum that helps prepare students to either go to a 4-year university or just jump professionally right into the theater world. And student ensemble is a part of that program. Students are able to audition. We do 2 plays a year, and it was born, I think about 10 years ago at this point. Mark Rocheteau, who's the fine arts coordinator, and I got together and said there has to be professional quality productions for these students to participate in, because if they're going to do this for a living, then they need to know what that feels like and experience it for themselves. And thus the student ensemble was born. And so Little Women is a part of that.
Now, prior to that, I believe that there was kind of a co-driven student entity. I think it was like Dramaticos or something, but it was something that they didn't necessarily have sufficient, I don't want to say sufficient guidance, but I don't think that it has evolved like the student ensemble has over 10 years.
Yes, Dramaticos is a student club, and so it is mostly student-driven. That's not to say that their work wasn't also awesome, but because of Mark's support, the student ensemble has the resources and access to the technical director. We're able to hire a professional staff to come in and do sets, costumes, lighting, sound, stage management, props, and so the students get a real hands-on experience with what it's like to work with people in the business.
That is fantastic. So, Devonny, tell us a little bit about yourself as a student at Massasoit. What are you going to Massasoit for, and how did you get involved with this performance of Little Women?
So I came to Massasoit in January of 2022, which was right after I was completely against college for a very long time. And then I left my job and I was like, I want to go to school. I miss learning because I do really enjoy learning. And I thought about the things I was good at. And one of those happened to be theater. So I applied and I got in. And my first class was when I met this lovely woman right here.
Crazy
was
woman.
A choreography class. And I remember a few weeks in, she told me I was a level -2 of a dancer.
I did do that, yes.
For the folks at home who don't understand the scoring, what exactly is that?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much dance ability do you have? And so Devonny entered into a dance class with -2 dance ability. Wow. I would say that now Devonny is at a 7 after a year's worth of very hard work.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is very exciting because she called me a 4 just a few weeks ago.
Yes.
So basically, you could be on Dancing with Stars at any time.
I don't know if I'm right there yet. I think that's like a level 8 and more.
Close. We're close.
We're almost there. I can almost do a split. I've been trying every single day.
Fantastic. I don't even want to attempt a split because I won't get back up.
In these pants, I don't either.
Let's talk about how did Little Women get chosen to be the production that folks are going to be able to go to come the 18th of March.
Absolutely. Little Women was one of a few choices that Mark Rocheteau and myself were considering for the spring. So our spring student ensemble play usually is geared towards education. And so we do a lot of outreach with elementary schools and bringing them in so that they're able to see professional quality theater. And, we do a talk back with the kids. It's really great. And so Little Women being a piece of literature was something that was definitely at the top of our list. But our students, our college students are celebrating herstory this year, so we're reading lots of plays by women, stories that are women-led, to shed a light on stories that often are not told or don't get to be told, and then ones that are told often but in a new way. So what is it that we're not taking a look at? So we thought Little Women would be a great opportunity for us as college academics to explore that together, but then incredible for young kids coming to see it.
Let's talk a little bit about it is Women's History Month. Just recently, it was International Women's Day.
Yes.
Talk to me about the recognition of the achievements of women, strong women, women who are important to our society and culture, and more that needs to be done to recognize the work of women. We'll start with you, Devonny.
All right. Well, first of all, we have a woman vice president. So we have come so far with how everything has been. Going back into relating this to Little Women, they did not have any rights at all when this was happening. And the fact that now Louise May Alcott herself is an author is amazing. The things that she got to do. And she did them because not only did she love them, but she was making money for her family. She became the breadwinner of the head of the household in that moment. And that's completely unheard of in that time. She wanted to take care of her family. And though she never got married, she never had kids herself, which again is unheard of in these times, she did end up taking care of her family through her sisters. And just as amazing as it is, I am so excited to be a part of this production to show that what we have now, we did not always have. And just seeing how far everything has come it really is amazing. And I keep saying it, but it truly is.
So I would ask you, Corinne, you would think in a day and age that we try to strive, especially here in this country, to make sure that there's full-on equality. Is there? There isn't. I know that there's still a fight to make sure, especially when it comes to a fair wage.
Yes.
It isn't one for one when it comes to earning. If you're a woman, you're not earning the same thing that a male counterpart is earning.
Yes, 100%. I would say, I think obviously politically, as far as what you would call like a human rights issue, we do still have a ways to go. I'm at a funny age. I am 35 years old, everybody, where I am really privileged that I am able to do what I can do and be a college professor and be a director. But when I was growing up, aside from my mother, I didn't have other female role models, and there were not many women in the business. And so the people who taught me and were guiding me as I was coming up through my career were mostly men. And so it hasn't really been until recently that I've felt like there are other women around me that I can depend on and go to. And I can't tell you how liberating that feels. But we do still kind of come up against it every once in a while, and it can be difficult with ingrained like toxic masculinity or sometimes misogyny. But that's not to say that everybody is that way. I am grateful to have earned the respect of my colleagues and that they support what it is that I'm doing. And I'm at an institution that also supports what it is that I'm doing. So, it depends on where you are, because it is worse for others, and it's definitely worse in other places across the globe, that we can't even speak to, experiences that we in America don't often consider.
So
That is true.
Let's talk a little bit about this play, Little Women. For folks who may not know what the premise of the performances? Could which one of you would like to kind of give your insight on
I
it?
suppose I'll do it.
Yeah,
this
let
time.
Devonny have that one.
Have at it, Devonny.
So, Little Women is known mostly as the story of Jo March and how she is different from everyone else during her time. And in today's terms, how she is not like other girls. However, that is not exactly what we are doing to it. We are showing that it really is about the entire family. Through Amy just growing up and turning into the beautiful woman she becomes, from Meg, who is always going along with what Jo wants, to becoming her own person and falling in love and allowing herself to do so, as well as Beth just being there for everyone as long as she can be. Ooh, and Jo got me for a second.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, it's okay. And even though Jo she has a different type of transition, though she stays pretty much the same just in her movement and the way she acts. Seeing what our lovely actor has done to it, it really is a different kind of transition where, though she sticks to her principles, she really does think about things. Mm-hmm. And even more than just the Little Woman, there are other changes. I have to talk about everyone.
Jeez, I sound like a horrible director. She just changed the whole damn thing.
No, I think it's very exciting to see how someone with a different outlook of what this story could be. I know that I am a more mechanical person, and Corinne is much more of a visionary than I am. If I was directing this on my own, I would have not have taken almost any of the same liberties that she has with it. And seeing how well they work in a place where it really, you wouldn't think that it would work, is very exciting to be a part of.
As somebody who this is your second time being able to be in a college play,
Yes.
under the guidance of Corinne Mason, what would you say early on right now? What have you learned from Corinne? And maybe it's something that you will apply when it is your turn to provide, a guidance to or an instruction to actors who are, getting ready to take the stage and perform.
Have fun and try something. Do not ask her if you can try something. Just do it and see how she reacts. It's a room to play in, and if you're not playing and you're just, as I am a very mechanical person, I will ask her if I can nod at someone in a way and be like, does this work? And she'll tell me to use my smart actor brain, and that if it doesn't mess up with someone else's direction, then I should just go for it. And if she hates it, she'll let me know, and she does.
What was the process like? I mean, do you have a mixture of students? Some that they have acting chops. Some are, maybe they acted and they had a robust theater, background, or maybe they had a high school that put on regular performances, like at Abington High School.
Oh yeah,
regular
Abington's
performances. They're right now in the middle of doing Carrie.
Yes.
And it is astounding how fantastic it is. But talk to me about the mixture of students and what they have for abilities, and how do you try to blend them together and give the ones who need the direction, and those who already know what they're doing, maybe just let them know, you're doing okay, I'm watching you.
Absolutely. I will tell you that the ones who usually have more chops under their belt are the ones that want the most notes. They're usually the ones that are like, give me more notes, Corinne. This particular production has a nice balance of students who do have some experience and then some who don't have any experience. And so we have quite a few first-timers, and I love first-timers. I really do. I love people who are green because they chose to say yes to step into something and to try something new. So there's already this quality about them that as an adult, we don't often try new things. Right. And they're all adults because this is college. And so they already have that quality about them that is a willingness to try. And so they just throw all of this energy out into the space, and all we have to do is shape it. It's like it's just like a pile of clay or something.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
You took it away. It's like it's a block of clay, and you have a chance to kind of put to mold them and kind of get
It's
them into
true.
shape.
Yep. The only real difference is like terminology. You use very specific actor terminology or technical terminology with someone who's been doing this for years, and then you use other terminology with people who have no idea what you're talking about. And that's really the only big difference.
I still get confused with upstage and downstage so often.
I don't repeat it 100 times, I promise.
I will tell you that I've been on stage a couple of times. Me too.
They're like, can you move it downstage left? And I go, yeah, this is my left. So this is downstage left, I think. And then I get told I'm doing it wrong. And I was like, I was not doing it the way. And I would just have to kind of sit there and be like, okay, where is the right place for me to be, just looking at the picture as well? Because it's all about making sure it looks right for a picture.
Absolutely.
Because you know that even though you tell people to not take photos, they're going to. Their kids are on stage.
Yeah.
Now, earlier on, you had mentioned in regards to being able to perform for some of the younger future thespians.
Hopefully.
I think you actually probably towards the end, I think on the cusp of your performances hitting the stage. Do you not have a group of sixth graders coming in from the Pluff School?
We do. We have a group of sixth graders coming in from the Pluff School. I think there's about 200 of them, which is incredible. And so they're going to be coming in on Friday to see our cast perform. And, school shows are so fascinating. I love the sixth grade age because they don't have any preconceived notions. And they're just like so excited to go on a field trip. And then they, and then they're like, oh, whoa, this is pretty cool. And so I can't wait to just like see their smiling faces. They also laugh at things at inappropriate times, which is a blast. And I mean that in the best way possible, because I think sometimes as an adult, when you go to the theater, you have these quote unquote rules, like, oh, I have to be a good audience member. And the kids don't really know anything about that. And so they're laughing and they're clapping at random times that full grown adults wouldn't. And that amplifies a performance for actors. They're hearing people react to it in a way that is so engaging. So I can't wait to see what they do.
It really does. There's nothing more exciting than when I'm in a class with Peter Carey and I will take a creative liberty in something in a script I read, and he laughs really hard, and he has a great laugh.
Yeah, he does.
And every time he does it, I just have to remember, you're still acting. You have to continue. But he's laughing and he's clapping, and I'm just like, yeah.
And just for the folks who are tuned into this conversation, this is coming up again, March 18th. There are two performances. There is a matinee, and then there's also an evening show, 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. respectively. This is on the Brockton campus of Massasoit Community College. It is, I think, 1 Massasoit Boulevard. And if you want to get tickets, it's very easy. You can go to the website. It is massasoit.edu/box office, or you can call 508-427-1234. It is that simple. What other things do we want to kind of share with the folks who want to kind of get the background to, putting this together? I know you're coming into Tech Week. Mm-hmm. What is that like for you, Corinne, to kind of, you're kind of still tweaking things. Maybe folks are still
Stressful.
fitting their costumes. Maybe the tech director is still setting the lights, or maybe still adding little nuances to the set.
I think I am very unique in that tech is my favorite.
Is it?
I love it. There is an HE double hockey stick word that people quite often call Tech Week,
Yep,
and I
they do.
couldn't disagree more. It is definitely stressful, but if you keep the energy up and you speak honestly and with kindness with people, then it's not a bad week. It's an incredible week, because though we've been working on it for a month now the other artists who are professionals in their field get to come in and add these layers. Like Teresa Capiccioni did the costume design, and it is incredibly authentic to the period, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Paul Valancourt's coming in to do the lighting design, and he works in New York City. Jonathan Scott is doing the sound design, and he is a Dean student and just incredible creative. And Nathan Fogg, who is our technical director, director at the theater, is doing the set design, and he has built us a home that I want to live in, for goodness sakes. It's just, these artists are incredible. And Gail Gilman is doing props, and she's like found these authentic antiques for us to be able to work with. Like, it's almost unheard of. So I can't wait to see what everyone's bringing in and how their little piece fits into our beautiful puzzle.
It's almost as though, and I know most of the names that you have mentioned, it's like you have an all-star cast.
Oh, definitely.
Behind the scenes, Teresa Capaccioni, who oversees
Legend,
who is not only somebody who has been on stage, but somebody who has a school in East Bridgewater.
Yep.
That she's already kind of helping the next generation
Yeah.
of folks who either want to do local shows, who might want to go to Broadway, who might want to go to Hollywood, who want to be involved and have to hone their chops, whether their voices, whether it's the mannerisms or just their acting chops.
Yeah, and they often do go on to those great things. She's incredible.
And Nathan, I think folks who had a chance to see Carrie, I believe that he was responsible for some of the lighting that you see, which was if you haven't had a chance to see Carrie, sorry,
It's too late now.
It's too. I mean, at the time of this taping, that it's already had opening night happened.
Yeah.
And people were astounded as to how fantastic it is. And again, another theater individual, Jim Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve Shannon, both who did a phenomenal job. Yep. And Meg Tomlin, all of them having a role in it. But it's interesting that you have an all-star cast behind the scenes.
We do.
Including Devonny. Devonny's also part of that.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Devonny is our assistant director and dramaturg, has been focusing on the acting and making sure we're keeping all of that authentic. And we have another student, Lauren Vanderwater, who has been doing what you will see when you see the show, helping us create these epic movement pieces that tell the story through movement and sound. And so the two of them together are incredible. And we have a student, Olivia Brown, who came to us out of the blue. We are so lucky. And she is a professional stage manager, but she's a student now at Massasoit. So she's stage managing our production. So it's literally the most professional stage manager we've ever had. I'm just over the moon.
She is amazing.
Amazing.
So I have to ask you, Devonny. Yeah, we're both sitting here and opining about the individuals who are involved. And we know because we have the experience and we've all worked together at one point or another. What is it like for you as a student to be able to be witnessing some of whether it's what Teresa's doing for costumes, whether it's Corinne and her direction, Nathan and what he's building, or I think you had mentioned other individuals who are part of this, Paul, and what he's doing when it comes to lighting, sound by Jonathan. When you're seeing and you're hearing how this is all coming together, as a student, how do you process that?
So I actually went to my first production meeting just yesterday.
Your head's still spinning?
And no, actually, it was very exciting to be a part of. Though I didn't have much to say, I'm very glad that I got to be a part of it, hearing the backstage and what goes on, because I am also an actor in the play, so a lot of what I'm hearing is, this line was said wrong, or how do I do this, which makes sense because those are the things I try to focus on, as well as my writing. In the script, there are some pieces that I'm very excited to show as well. Right. But seeing the backstage aspects and hearing the stress that these people are going through, but they're so willing to go through it just for this little show is... I could not be more excited about a show that I've been in before.
It's emphatic problem solving.
It's marvelous. So as we get ready to wrap this up, is there anything that we haven't touched upon other than get out there and buy your tickets?
Please.
Buy those tickets. Anything you want to say in closing?
I do want to say that, we do know Little Women. A lot of us know the story of Little Women. It's incredibly popular. Some of us grew up on it, but this Little Women is definitely not one that you have seen before. And so we really put the emphasis on the family. We are telling everybody's story and everybody's relationship. And we took some creative liberties to
Every director does.
of course, to really build in the magic of storytelling. And that was our original inspiration idea. So every choice we've made, we ask ourselves, is this magical enough? And so you will see a very magical, very whimsical version of Little Women. And I can't wait to share it with the world. So get your tickets, please.
I will say that when I was in school, my mother always said that she also loved Little Women. It was her favorite, and I had never read it before this. So going into it not knowing anything was very scary. And I think that now if I watch the movies and if I really read the book after this, that I'm going to be sorely disappointed because ours is so much fun and it's so different. And I think that it's crazy that, I went through all of my school without my teachers showing or any of my teachers having me read it. And I think that it's something that hopefully will get back into curriculums because I think that everyone should know about it and know about not only, because it is part of history, there is parts of the Civil War and no one knows about what goes on at the homes of people, of those families, what's going on there. And I love that this is what that's about.
Kind of a backstory.
Yes.
Well, again, folks, if you need a reminder as to where this is, Massasoit Community College, the Brockton campus. It's right over the Whitman-Brockton line, easy enough to find. I believe it's in the Fine Arts Building. It is in the Buckley Performing Arts Center. And there are two performances on Saturday, March 18th. There's a 3 p.m. matinee. There's a 7 p.m. evening show. Tickets are $16 for general patrons, $14 if you are a senior, a student, if you are a child or a veteran. So there's a very accommodating $14 price. If you want to get tickets online, massasoit.edu and /box office follows the massasoit.edu, or you can just call the box office, 508-427-1234. Devonny, Corinne, thank you so much for being my guest on this podcast.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for having
us.
us. It's been a wonderful opportunity.
You got it. And we thank you for tuning in. Until next time, have a good day.